and that didn't work out too well.
Julio.
Yeah, it wasn't
Julio.
it wasn't anything bad.
Hey everybody, your buddy Basil here, and you are listening to the Joyspiracy Theory. Thanks for coming back this week. We are back on a roll, everybody. We're making it happen. Woo! All right, so this week we've got an excellent episode with Julio. We talk about some paranormal experiences, life in the military. There's a swarm of bees. Yes, you don't want to miss that. It's going to be great. All right, but before we get started, everybody, if you have not liked the Facebook page, go do that. You get all the goods delivered right to your Facebook. You can just search the Joyspiracy Theory on the Facebooks, and it'll lead you right there. I want to say thank you to all of our new Patreon supporters, Renee, Rhonda, and Steven. Thank you so much. It's only because of people like you that this show can keep on going. And if you guys feel like you are led to help support this show, pay the bills, keep the show running, you can go to patreon.com/thejoyspiracy theory, and we've got a couple of support rewards there you can sign up for. And if you have signed up as for a monthly donation, go ahead and send me the goods. Send me so I can give your pets a shout out or read a message on the air here, and there will be more rewards to come. So please go do that. All right, like I said, sorry it's been a little while since the last episode came out. I was gone for a long time, but I set up a few episodes to come out while I was gone. That just shows you how long it's been. But we're back, we're rolling, we're recording. If you'd like to be on the show, go ahead and send an email to thejoyspiracytheory@gmail.com, or hit me up on Facebook, Basil Rosewater there. And there you go. All right. So, ladies, I'm putting the call out again. If there's any ladies out there who want to be on the show, give me a message. Connect with me on Facebook or email or anything like that, and I will respond. We'll get you on here. We need more of the ladies. Hey guys, we still have our Joyspiracy Theory prayer group going. And if you want to get involved with that, email tjtprayer@gmail.com. It's just a great community of people who listen to the show and get together and share prayer requests and pray for other people. It's awesome. And thank you, Kelsey, for leading that, heading it up. And you're doing the Lord's work there. Okay, I think that's just about it. Everybody enjoy this episode so much. All right. Let's do it. Hello.
Hey, there it is.
There he is. Julio, what's up, my brother?
What's going on, Basil? How you doing?
Good, buddy. I am just getting settled in, ready to rock and roll. How are you doing today?
Good. Doing really good.
Great. What are you grateful for?
Man, I'm so grateful for just Jesus Christ pulling me from where I was, and grateful that He saved me. I'm grateful for my wife, and just life in general, man.
There you go. You got all the hits. I like it. Okay. Well, this is awesome. As it does with most people, it takes a little while to get all the scheduling, but you are a champ today. There was a void and you filled it.
That's awesome, bro.
You're the man.
I'm pumped.
You are the man.
Thanks.
All right, so you sound great. Sounds like you got the whole, like you got your Wi-Fi signal on point. That's always a nice benefit.
Yes, sir.
Very good, very good. So where are you calling from?
Texas. No, I'm kidding.
No. Every time it'll get me every single time.
I'm in Boynton Beach, Florida. I'm like in between Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach.
Okay, you might be the first Floridian. I hope you are, because that means
Sweet.
I'm forgetting somebody, and that's not good. But I think you are.
Sweet.
How's it going over there? Is it lots of raining alligators?
No, it's been really windy. It was raining earlier today,
Oh,
but besides that, I mean, it rains for like a couple hours and then
all
it
right.
ends.
Very good. As is always the case when talking to people from other states, I apologize in advance for all of my stereotypical like state reference pulls. That's all I got.
No worries, bro.
I took a cruise once out of Fort Lauderdale. Is that a
Yeah.
place? Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a Florida
I'm
champion.
like 30 minutes from Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, next time I get to take a cruise, I'll stop by and say hi.
Hit me up, bro. We'll do something.
Awesome, awesome. Were you in Florida back during the Clinton administration?
No, I was living in Cleveland,
Okay.
Cleveland, Ohio.
All right. I'll save all my jokes like I have a bunch of jokes planned about what was that kid's name? The little Cuban boy?
Elian?
Elian. Yeah. Man, that shows how long it's been since I've thought about Florida. Sorry.
That was a long time ago.
That was. I must have been like 6 or something during that. It's amazing I even remember.
I can still picture the headlines and the picture they had in the papers with some dude in full gear,
right?
And the kid.
Yeah. I have an image of him, and I think, the dude in full gear, and I think there's like a yellow raft in the background or something. I remember
in the closet somewhere or something.
Oh, the closet. I forgot about that. All right. Okay. Enough about Elian. It was Elian Gonzalez, right? That's what it was. All right.
Yeah, I think that was his last name.
I wonder what that kid's up to. We need to do a "Where Are They Now" episode of Elian Gonzalez.
Look him up.
Yeah. I bet somebody out there is keeping track of him.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Okay, enough about Elian Gonzalez. How'd the episode go? Oh yeah, me and Julio just talked about Elian Gonzalez for 2 hours.
And raining gators.
Raining gators and Elian Gonzalez. Okay, all right. Well, that's awesome, buddy. So, you said you got a wife. You got any kids? Anything like that?
I have stepboys from a previous marriage.
Stepboys from your previous marriage or her previous marriage?
My previous marriage.
Your previous marriage.
Yes.
Okay, excuse me. I apologize for my ignorance. How exactly does that work?
Well, when I was younger, I had married a woman who had 3 young boys at the time.
And you're no longer.
She still has them. No.
Okay.
No. This was before I became a believer.
Sure.
When I was married to her, and then once I became a believer, that's a whole different
that didn't work
scenario
out.
there.
It just stopped working out. Sounds like it. So, but that's interesting. I did not think we were going to hit something so interesting right there, and maybe it's not. But let me ask this: you're not married to her anymore, but you still consider those kids stepchildren.
Those are my boys.
Those
yes,
are
sir.
your boys. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Those are my boys.
That's awesome. So you still have a close relationship with them?
Oh yes, I do. The oldest one is married.
Wow. I'm seeing your picture right here on the Skype machine, and you look like a little young to have a kid. I guess as a step kid, he could have been 36 by the time you married your ex-wife. But anyways,
I'm actually 46. I'll be 47 this month.
Well, you're a young 46 and 11 months.
Thank you, sir.
Well, awesome. Okay, so you've got a new wife, a current wife, a lovely wife, right?
Yes, okay. yes. She is very awesome.
That's awesome. Is that who I hear running the sink in the background?
Actually, paper bag. Yeah.
Oh, I'm really good at
I'm sorry.
identifying things. No, it's okay. It's not that loud. I just have supersonic hearing. Okay. All right. So you got the step boys, still very close to the step boys. That's very cool. I like that. You're over there in Florida. Where are you from originally?
I was born and raised in Chicago, and then my dad really didn't want us. Basically, I guess the atmosphere was getting really bad, and then with the gangs and stuff back then,
Sure.
and my dad, I guess his job transferred him to Cleveland. I can't quite remember, but we moved to Cleveland when I was 8 years old. So from the age of 8 until 2009, I lived in Cleveland, and then I
Oh,
moved down to Florida.
that's interesting. Again, don't know much about Cleveland. Actually, in my mind, Chicago and Cleveland seem like they're just the same city, just
Yeah,
pronounced differently.
right, right. They basically are.
So, how old were you when you moved to Florida then?
2009, I was,
Okay, so you were a grown man.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
got it. All right. Well, you mentioned that you found the Lord during your first marriage or that previous marriage. So you didn't grow up in a church-going household, or what? What
Uh,
was that like?
he, actually, we did.
Oh,
We, my parents were Roman Catholics to begin with,
mm,
and I actually did what they call the communion and confirmation and all the little, I don't know if I should say that or not, like ritualistic stuff that they do with the
yeah, all
Catholic
the
religion.
sort of
Yeah,
stages that they kind of
right,
have set up there for the
right.
yeah.
So I became a I became an altar boy. So
Ooh,
I was like an altar boy for like maybe 2 years.
oh, so you
For,
were
for
like straight up
Oh
Catholic.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all
Yeah. I
right.
was up there with the priest and ringing the bells
And you
and
got to wear the cool robe,
oh yeah, that robe was
the
awesome.
Jedi robe. Very nice.
And it's just there were I guess my doubts about the Catholic I guess religion in general just started then
Yeah.
because the main question hit me was why would I have to confess my sins to a man who's probably doing the same things I'm doing?
Right,
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
so that kind of spun me off from the Catholic religion and just put me in a tailspin to
You
do.
you didn't like giving up all your secrets.
Oh well, yeah, Dad.
I get it. You ain't got a lie to kick it, man. I got you.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there was so much going on
Right.
back then when I was a kid, and just the simple fact of me thinking of that and just realizing that he's probably doing the same thing.
Right.
He's probably doing some of the stuff that I was doing,
Yeah.
and who knows? God,
Maybe
only God
worse. Who
knows what he was
knows?
doing exactly.
Yeah.
Only God knows what if he was doing even worse or not. So
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 when you
I
sorry to interrupt, when you say there was a lot going on at that time, what do you mean?
well there was a lot going on with me.
Yeah.
Just at the time there was like I felt no spirituality, just the questions plaguing, and then peer pressure at the time. I was like 13,
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah,
the girlfriend
it's a
scenario and
tumultuous age
oh yeah.
when you have to confess every weekend. It can
So what'd
get
you do this week?
yeah,
Oh
it can
man, do
get
I have to tell you
a little laborious.
that? Do I have to say that now?
Again,
Can I do it for next
can you
week?
just do the repeat of last week? Just all this stuff, same stuff, different
Can I
week.
just write it down and hand it to you under the?
I'm tired of saying it, man. You're gonna make me say it again? Oh, that's funny. Okay, so yeah, you got the normal young teenager stuff going on there, growing up in the city. I get it.
Right,
We get it.
right, right. So I kind of backed off. I told my mom and my dad. I was like, look, I told them that I was like, I'm not feeling comfortable.
Mm,
I don't want to do this anymore.
yeah.
So I kind of stayed away from it, and then the priest would come by the house and be like, hey, what's going on, Julio? Why haven't you been? The whole hook, line, and sinker type of thing, trying to
Sure.
reel me back in.
Checking up on you.
Right. So whenever it's funny because I would sit at the window, and if I saw him approaching, I would like try to sneak out the back door and run down the street, so I wouldn't have to confront him.
That's
So
funny. Just press the escape pod button and just jettison out the back
yeah,
door.
the escape route. So um, later on, I guess a couple of years later, there were rumors about that priest that he apparently got hooked up with one of the nuns and actually left the church.
Whoa. What
Yeah,
a
but
bad
again,
boy.
it's rumors. I really don't know.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know if it was truth or not, but that was the thing that was going around.
Sure.
And I can remember my mom and my dad just sitting in the kitchen or something. Well, and my dad saying, "Well, sometimes you gotta realize he's a man too."
Your dad was very pragmatic, I'm sensing.
Oh, oh, he's awesome. He's awesome.
Sure, yeah, no, sounds like it. So
So,
your dad had some grace for the guy. That's good.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So we moved from where the church was. We moved from that area, and we moved to further west in Cleveland. But there's going to be some like really spiritual stuff in this thing.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's get
All
down and
right.
dirty.
All right, let's go to in that house before we moved.
This
Um,
is in Chicago.
no, this is in Cleveland.
Cleveland. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
this is in Cleveland. Some of the stuff in Chicago, I really don't remember.
Yeah, yeah.
But there is a story that my mom tells my sister and myself, but I don't remember it.
Okay.
Because I was little. She said that one this was when we were maybe my sister was maybe 3 or 4, and I was like 4 or 5, somewhere around there. And my mom says she said that we had woken up really early one morning and went to her and told her that Jesus was in our room, and that he had spoken to us, and he had told us to take care of our younger brother.
Whoa.
But none of this I remember. I don't remember any of it.
Okay.
So my mom was like, my mom said, yeah, what we did to make sure that you guys didn't muster up this conversation, or just made it up.
Right.
What they did is they separated us. So between my dad, my mom, my grandmother, and my great aunt, they questioned us.
Classic.
So my mom said that at the end of it, they said that the testimony of us actually seeing Jesus and him telling us what he told us was flawless. The conversation between my sister and myself, and she said that's the thing that she remembers the most about something spiritual first starting with us. So again, I don't remember any of it.
Right.
You
So
know.
so wait, the Jesus popping up thing, your guys' stories matched and it
Oh
was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
corroborated?
Yep, yep. Everything matched. Everything matched up. Yeah.
And he told you to take care of your younger brother,
My
which
younger brother.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming you have a younger brother or had at least.
We actually have two. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Was he getting in trouble I mean, that kid must have been like 2 at that time at the least.
He was. I think he was a year old. He was just
There's just a
either
little
just
baby,
born or
just
just a year old.
little
Yeah.
tiny baby getting in all sorts of shenanigans.
Right. Right.
So
Right. Right.
Jesus
Right.
needed to
Crib
take care.
hopping. So we I again I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So apparently my mom told when we moved to Cleveland, my mom told that priest the priest that we were just recently talking about.
Uh-huh.
So he told my mom, well, that's a blessing. You know, you should bring the kids to church. You should, you know, have them serve or whatever, and you know, and apparently that's what she did. And apparently, I mean, I was all in it, you know,
Yeah, sure, sure. I
because at
mean,
the age you know, I really wanted to know God.
yeah. I mean, Jesus
So
popping up in your room, like that's a good.
well, yeah, you know, that's what triggered that actually triggered it more because like I said, I don't remember any of that.
Right.
And my mom was like, well, you know, you guys were young, and I was like, yeah, I'm apparently young enough for not, you know, young enough for me not to remember any of it.
Yeah, I don't think I remember anything from that age. So I mean, I could have like ridden an elephant across the ocean and still wouldn't remember it. Um, okay, so you got this spiritual experience pretty early that got you all plugged into the church, serving in the church. The priest, you know, it's just a man, really. He's just a
Right, right.
guy. He takes off, and you guys head over to Cleveland. Now, what sort of crazy stuff was happening there?
Oh man, did it go downhill from there? Um, um, my brothers and I, in the place where we stayed before we moved before we moved west, we had full reign of the attic, which was already um, it was already set up as a bedroom, as a huge bedroom, you know.
Okay, all right.
So on either side of the walls, you had like these dressers that were built into the wall, and then right in the middle of the room, like right in the center, both ways, like lengthwise and widthwise, was a chimney.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was like the chimney from the whole house.
Yeah, yeah.
It
So
was like
it's
right in the
kind of
center.
a big brick thing in the middle of the
Right,
room.
right, right. So me and my brothers were sitting up there, and we would be into like Star Wars action figures back then, and
Nice.
GI Joe, and we used to be into our comic books and stuff. So one day we were I had just gotten a brand new comic, so we were sitting there and just reading this comic, and all of a sudden we happened to just, you know, all three of us happened to look up, and we see this dark shadow just run from the left side of the wall. It ran from the left side of the wall into the chimney.
Whoa.
So, you know, we kind of looked at each other like, you know, what was that? You know, we thought it was like just a blur out of the corner of our eyes.
Right.
So we kept looking, and we see it walking this time from the chimney to to the right side of the wall. And
What?
yes, so at that time when it's walking across the room, it happened to look at us. So it just disappeared into the wall.
Whoa. Okay. Now, so you described it as a shadow, so I'm assuming
Yes,
kind of a
yes.
wispy, and is this like the shape of a man, like a man
Yeah,
sized?
well, for us it was pretty tall. He was pretty tall.
Yeah, sure. And when it
And
looked at you, I mean, could you like see a face, or you just kind of got the
no,
impression?
we just got the impression of like the where the eyes were, and it just walked.
Holy
You know,
smokes!
we saw the simple fact that it looked at us.
Chimney
And
man!
yeah.
Ah!
so that was one of our first experiences with something like that.
Wow.
So
But that was the end of
so
the experience. It's just it's chimney man walking around.
well, for that first time, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
No, I
for that
mean,
first time.
hey, don't get me wrong. That's enough. That's enough, chimney man. Okay.
But if that were the case in that house, it would have been awesome. But when we moved to this other house, that's when all this stuff really started to happen.
Crazy. Okay.
So we don't, to this day, I don't know if this spirit or whatever it was attached to us as far as a family, you know,
Right.
or if it was something that was just a fluke, because you know, we really don't know,
Yeah.
you know. So we moved to this new house, and how I was maybe starting high school, I think. I was like maybe in the ninth or 10th grade.
Yeah,
I think it was the ninth grade.
14 or so.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. 14, 15, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So we move into this new house, and again, me and my younger brother, the one that we were supposed to take care of, uh, we have the room up in on the third floor. So this house was like this was a 6 bedroom house, like really old Victorian type of house, you know.
Whoa, that's a big house.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty huge, or it still is pretty huge because my parents are still there.
It didn't shrink in some sort of scientific accident.
No, no, no. To us, maybe because we grew, but but we get to this house, and there were we had to knock down some walls and stuff like that. Just do some patchwork.
Sure.
And my dad happened to stumble on a bunch of subpoenas. I don't know if this is any significance or whatever,
Huh.
but these subpoenas were from like 1918 or something.
Whoa, and they're like
Yeah,
inside the wall?
inside the walls. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What? Okay.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
so they were pretty old. One of the guys' name was Frank Myers, and the other guy was Michael Murphy. So we, like kids, we want to know who this guy is. So we went to the library because no internet at that time.
Sure, sure.
So we tried to figure out who these people were, and the lingo on these subpoenas were so it seemed like so old English.
You
It
guys were
was
like
really.
Julio boy detectiving this
Oh yeah,
case.
yeah. We're trying to dog it as much as we could.
Wow, that's awesome. Those were the days.
Yeah. So come to find out, these one of these guys had actually committed murder, and he was being subpoenaed and tried. And I don't know where the story goes from there because it was so long ago, and we can't, like I can't remember certain details of that.
Sure.
But I do remember the subpoenas, and I do remember
it was for
looking
murder.
for. Right.
Yeah.
So we patch up the walls, and everything's normal. So um, we're there maybe about a year or so, and we start hearing footsteps, and we start hearing things that really shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Everybody could be downstairs, and you could hear footsteps up in the second floor.
Oh
You know.
no, Chimney Man, no.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, we kind of dubbed this spirit or whatever it was. We called him Frank because of Frank Murphy.
Yeah,
So
right.
we would say, oh, that's Frank. Oh, don't worry about him. Whoever would come over, like one of our friends or whatever, they would hear it too.
So, like mom and dad, like everybody was in on Frank.
Oh yeah. Everybody was in on the Frank thing.
Frank, way better name than Chimney Man, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, were you guys still, when you moved to Cleveland, were you still involved with the Catholic Church, or?
Well, my parents kind of were.
Yeah.
It kind of dwindled down from the whole
Super.
when we moved from the other place to this new place.
Okay.
So it their attendance kind of went down. So
Sure.
so we kind of laid back or whatever too. So that I guess that just intensified whatever was going on in that house. Maybe. I don't.
Who knows?
I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, I was going to say, like, if your parents were, if you guys were still super involved with the Catholic Church, I imagine that, you'd get some exorcists in there or something. This would get real crazy.
You would think that would you would think that would happen, but it really didn't, which was weird. Which is weird, just thinking about that, because there was like a comfort to it, which was odd.
Huh.
We weren't scared of it, but there was like, oh yeah, oh, don't pay no mind to it. It is what it is.
Wow.
So that kept going on for a while, And then one time we had this friend of ours come over, and we're sitting in the kitchen, and we're sitting in the kitchen talking or whatever, and it's all of us, and all of a sudden the wall there was this wall next to the basement door, and it had a clock on it, and all of a sudden this clock like jumps off the wall and curves and goes towards our friend
Whoa.
that was sitting in the kitchen. So okay,
Clock
where
attack,
did
no
that
big
come from?
deal,
Right, right.
Frank.
But it wasn't like a fear. We kind of laughed at it,
Right.
which is again, the comfort level that we had at this point, because some just the footsteps and the creaking of the stairs you would hear like just about every day.
Sure, it's just
So
your guys' roommate walking around.
right. So we really we really didn't pay no mind to it until I started to get physically attacked.
Whoa.
I would get these scratch marks coming from like the base of my skull all the way down my back.
Whoa, just out of nowhere?
Yeah, I don't. I'd wake up and I would feel like this burn, and I would go and look, and that's what it'd be like, 3 claw marks.
Oh, yikers.
Yeah.
Frankie
So
boy's getting a little rowdy.
yes, it was started to creep me out then, and then uh, I think this was when I was maybe 15 or 16 when all this really started.
Yeah, okay.
So so I'm getting attacked. Then the sleep paralysis starts to kick in,
Oh boy.
and the fear really creeps up.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to see anything in the room, but I couldn't move.
Yeah.
So I would try to scream, and at that time I really wasn't calling out for Jesus at all. It was just me just trying to get up out of this paralyzed feeling.
Sure, yeah.
And not realizing that's what it was. Or the spirit or whatever. Me personally, I think it's a spiritual thing, and more than a scientific thing.
Oh yeah.
You
I
know.
mean, trust me, I have a long history with sleep paralysis, and there's some fishy going on there.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling.
No.
So that was going on for a while, and then it stopped. And at the time, I was entering senior year, and I was really rebellious. I was smoking. I was getting out of the house just to hang out with my boys, and um, uh, smoking weed here and there.
Sure.
Doing the rebellious stuff, drinking. At the age of what, 16 going on 17.
Yeah, yeah.
So that just led into a serious spiral of just
Now,
like
were you
it just added up.
Oh, definitely. I want to go a little bit more into that, but just real quick, just to take a step back, did you tell your parents about the scratches?
Oh yeah, they knew.
Huh.
They knew.
Okay.
Yeah, they knew. They actually the first time it happened, they were like, well, maybe you should check your mattress. It might be a spring coming out or whatever.
Right, right.
And we checked, and there was nothing.
There's no spring, but
Right.
there was no
There's
alligators
evidence.
yet either.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
no, the alligators weren't there yet.
That's later.
Right. So, so I
So
mean,
getting a little rebel boy, getting a little
oh yeah.
teenagery there.
Yeah. So I went and I said, the knowledgeable 16-year-old that I am, or going on 17-year-old that I am, I said, well, that's it. I'm just going to leave home and I'm going to go and join the army. So I spoke to the recruiter at the school, and since I was 17 and I was about to graduate high school at the age of 17, the recruiter was like, well, I can't sign you off. I'm gonna have to get your parents' signature. Well, my parents didn't know anything. They didn't know that I was even planning this.
Oh wow. So wait, why the military though? Did you
I
feel like you needed the
I just wanted to
structure?
get away. No, I just
Ah,
wanted to get away.
yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to get away.
Ticket to Independenceville.
Right, right, right.
Got it.
And the recruiter shows up at the house, and he's like, "Well, Mr. and Mrs. Rosa, your son wants to leave." And my dad was like, "Well, he's going to be a man soon enough, might as well."
Yeah.
So he signed off, and I graduated in June, and by August I was already headed towards boot camp.
Wow.
So that's where the shenanigans went even deeper.
Oh boy.
uh, I went through boot camp, did my AIT, which is advanced training. Excuse me. And my first duty station was Germany. So over there, the drinking age, at the time, I think it still is, was 16.
Oh boy.
So I fell right into there.
Yeah, there you go.
I fell right in. Um, just drinking at night, right after work or whatever, right after duty. Drinking till about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, sleeping about 2 hours to get up at 4, 5 o'clock to do a 5 mile run just about every day, and it really wasn't great.
Yeah, yikes. Yeah, and that was like a mandatory 5 mile run. Like that was part of
Oh
your
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, that's what I thought.
Because our CO, our captain was an Army Ranger, so he would have us running all the time.
So you're this is what 17, 18 years old, something like that.
Right, right,
Waking up
right.
with a
With a
hangover, running
running,
5
right?
miles. Yeah, that sounds
So
like paradise.
so halfway through, you're on the side,
Yeah,
worshiping the ground or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Getting your cleansing the body there halfway
Right,
through the
right.
5 mile run.
And then you take off, and you finish off the rest of the 2.5 miles or whatever. You go eat breakfast and do it all over again.
Oh, yikes.
You know, so it was just a downward spiral of the drinking and just a partying and whatnot. So I get out of the military and I come back home, and I go back to that same house. And
How old are you now?
at that time I'm 20.
20. Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
you just did the full thing and got out and went back to Scary House.
Right, right, right,
Cool.
right. The intelligence was there.
There you go.
So I I got back, and I had so much money saved up that um, at that point it really disappeared in drinking.
Oh, yeah.
So with the drinking and the spiritual stuff that was going on in that house too, the attack started again. So I was like, well, maybe I have to do something else. That was my mentality at that time.
So when you say the attacks started again, you mean like the physical attacks?
Yeah, the physical
More
attack.
scratches?
Oh yeah, they would come
Wow.
back. Yeah. So I was like, all right, so let me see what I can do. I had this GI Bill, and I said, well, let me see what I can do. I'm gonna use this and go to art school. So, oh, by the way, Basil, I'm the one that did the cartoon characters of you and Gans.
Oh, nice. Those are
You remember that on
awesome.
Facebook?
I do. Man, I love it when people send in fan art. It's literally my favorite thing. And that was a sweet one. You were the man. I'll have to dig those up again and post them.
I so I went to art school. I did that. I did that for a little bit, and then um, I I never graduated because I started getting hooked up with local artists and started doing some local stuff. And some guy took me under his wing, and I had like this own my own personal mentorship with this local artist who was really good.
Oh, that's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, yeah. So that went on. I was still doing going out partying, drinking, and doing whatnot. And then one day, it was my mom, my two brothers, and myself. We're sitting on the front porch. It had to have been. It was warm, so it had to have been like maybe springtime, close to summertime.
Okay.
And we're sitting on the front porch, and we hear this loud, uh, it sounded like a freight train coming. Right. So we happen to look up and look ahead, and like over the house that was across the street, you could see this really thick black cloud coming
Whoa.
towards the house.
What?
So yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're looking at this thing coming, and the buzz and the rattling, the windows started to rattle. That's how strong it was.
A big dark cloud?
It was actually a bee swarm. It was a swarm of bees that were coming towards the house.
What? Oh my gosh.
So so my mom starts screaming, "Everybody get inside! Hurry up! Close the door!" So we run inside. My mom and my brothers are downstairs, and I happen to go up the staircase to look out the side window. So by the time I get up to the top stair platform where the windows were, all the windows of the house were rattling from the vibration of
Because
these
of a
bees.
swarm of bees?
It's what when I tell you, Basil, that thing was loud. It was loud. You can hear it. You
That's the
heard it before it even
craziest
came.
thing I've ever heard.
Right. So here we're running. We run inside the house. I go up to the staircase on the top, and I'm looking on out of the side window towards the side of our neighbor. He had this open field, and he was out there actually cutting, doing some yard work. He hadn't started to cut the grass yet. He was just digging his yard, like digging up weeds or whatever. And I'm looking down, and he's like nothing. He's not hearing any of this.
Right.
Right. So I'm like, this is so weird. Why is the whole house was shaking at this time? So so the windows are vibrating. You can hear the buzz. My mom's downstairs, hysterical at this moment. So I run downstairs, and my brothers are already in the kitchen, and inside the kitchen there's this big bay window that you can see into my neighbor's yard. His name is Mr. Casey. He passed away recently. So we're looking into Mr. Casey's yard, and he's still doing like digging up for weeds or whatnot. So we're like, why isn't he hearing this? So I happen to turn to my right, and right there's the back door to go out to the backyard. That's why I tell you, as soon as I opened that door and I opened the screen door, the bees were gone.
What? And all of you
So
saw that?
yeah, my mom and my two brothers and myself.
Okay.
So I step outside, and I'm looking around, and I'm looking to see where this swarm of bees went. They just vanished. Right. So I go over to Mr. Casey, and I say, hey, Mr. Casey, did you hear that swarm of bees? And he was like, what swarm of bees? I was like, you didn't hear it. It was shaking the house. He was like, I didn't hear anything. And I was like,
What?
what? Right. So
What?
my mom tells it, you didn't hear a thing. And he was like, no, I didn't hear anything. So I'm like, what is going on? My mom was like, get back inside. We need to get back inside. So we go in,
Whoa.
and we're sitting there. I mean, everybody's like freaking out.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no kidding.
So either it was some spiritual swarm coming through the house,
Yeah,
or
ghost
something.
bees, man.
Dude, it was so weird.
What the heck? Demon bee swarm? That reminds me of what was that movie with oh, what's his name? I think it was Constantine, and it was
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
who's
Yeah,
that?
with
What's
with
that
the guy,
guy's
the
name? Uh
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves as a demon hunter.
Yeah.
I think there's a bunch of
Yeah.
bugs. There's a demon who is made out of bugs in that one.
Yeah, yeah. So it was weird. It freaked us out.
And the whole family saw it, and the neighbor who was outside gardening didn't see it. or
Yeah, he
hear
didn't
it
see a
or
thing. He
anything?
didn't see a thing. You're right, right.
Whoa.
Nothing,
Okay.
nothing.
All
And
right.
when I tell you the house shook and the windows were rattling, that's what was actually happening.
Wow. Okay.
And my mom tells this story to my nieces, and they're like, no way. And then they asked their dad, and he says, yeah, it actually happened. He was like there was four of us who witnessed this.
That's
So
crazy.
my nieces are like, oh no, that's nuts. you know. So we that was an experience that we had. So right after that, I was still doing my thing. By that time, I had already wasted all my money. Um,
So
and was
so was this another Frank situation where you guys are like, well,
I think it might have been,
swarm of
yeah,
demon
yeah.
bees, everybody's
But this
cool.
one
We're gonna
this
just
one
pretend this one didn't happen. Yup. Okay.
well this one really freaked us out because it was out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
It was something that yeah, you can hear a bunch of bees coming through, and everybody would hear the bees coming through and see them. But for someone to sit there when we know what we saw and we felt and we heard, you can. When I tell you, Basil, those windows were rattling. It was like, uh, what's a good example? Have you ever been in like a tornado or like really strong windstorm
Or
where
like a
it'll rattle
swarm
the
of
window?
ghost bees? No, I've
Yeah, yeah,
never been in anything like that. No, but I understand the concept of rattling windows. So I, I think I have a faint idea, but that's crazy.
yeah. So that happened. I just kept doing my thing. By that time I was already I was out hanging out, smoking weed here and there.
Now, excuse me for interrupting again, but I mean, if from an outsider's perspective, that's like such classic Roman Catholicism. Swarm of
Isn't
demon bees. Well,
it?
that happened. Moving
Yeah.
on.
Let's go smoke some weed and erase the memories.
Wow, that's amazing. All right.
So so I'm doing. It's me and my brother and some other guy. We would hang out and go out drinking, come back 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and just hang out, in front of the porch or whatever.
Yeah.
And uh, there were some evenings where we'd be like just baked, just
Sure.
sitting there baked. And my brother would see this spirit pop up in his face with a completely blue face, right?
Wow.
So he'd jump up and freak out, but that would happen on occasion. And I was like, dude, it's the weed, whatever.
I
So
mean, that's a reasonable conclusion, but
right, till it happened to me.
yeah. Oh gosh.
And I was like, all right, so we got a new thing. Here's this new thing. So it could have been a combination of marijuana. It could have been a combination of the drinking, but
Yeah,
but
it could
for
have also been the demons, you know?
it,
It's a
yeah,
combination of all of them.
exactly. Well, I'm putting it as if I'm not even a Christian yet. This is how I'm trying to explain the story. Like I'm not even a Christian yet.
Right,
You
right.
know, so so we blow it off. So we named this guy. We named him Blueface,
That
right?
sounds like a name I would have made
So
up. That's perfect.
so so now we have Frank, and now we have Blueface,
Oh my
and then we
gosh.
have a story of these bees. So the strange stuff just keeps happening around the house. Things keep turning off and on in the house.
Now,
Uh,
how was the family life at this time? I mean, was everybody getting along? A lot of
oh
times
yeah,
with
yeah,
these
yeah,
like
yeah.
weird spiritual occurrences, you'll hear of like, just
Division,
irrational
dissent.
division. Yeah.
No, no, none of that. And that's, I started to think about that afterwards. Excuse me. And none of that was happening. we were like a tight knit family.
Wow.
You know, we all got along.
Well,
You
that's
know,
great.
nobody had any issues with anyone. You know, we'd smack our little youngest brother around, but that was typical.
Sure.
But but I mean, the family dynamic was normal. It wasn't like we were at each other's throats or anything. You know,
Yeah.
so that would still go on, and stuff like that would still be happening. The sleep paralysis was still happening. I was still being attacked, and then I happened to run into uh, my ex-wife at the time. I knew her since we've known each other since like maybe junior high school, right?
Right.
So we never dated. You know, I was like a geek. I was a nerd, you know, in high school, whatever. No offense to the
Geeks and
the
nerds.
geeks or nerds. Love you
Geeks and
guys.
nerds. It's all good.
I'm still one. Still one.
Geeks and
My,
nerds united.
right. My wife still actually she calls me geeky because you know the internet may go down or whatever. And oh yeah, I'll take care of that. Don't worry about it. You know. But so I knew her for a long time. So when I went to the army and I came back, you know, and I happened to run into her at a bar. So uh, she's like, "Oh my God, you know, we meet up, whatever, you know, do the thing, hang out, whatever,
Uh-huh.
exchange numbers," and we started dating. So um, again, the non-Christian dating involves so many other things, but
Sure, you got the full spectrum
right,
there.
right.
Now you don't have to
So
tell some old guy about it.
right. Exactly. You know what I did? No. So, um, she, I think we're dating for like maybe 6 or 7 months or whatever, and we decided to get married. So we get married, and as soon as we get married, she joins the Navy, which is she joins the reserves.
Wow, military people all over the place here.
Oh yeah. So we're married. You know, first couple of years are great, and then the um, I don't know if Frank followed me, but I was being attacked in that house. I was being attacked in my sleep. Um,
Again, with the physical
again,
stuff. More
right.
scratches, or was there anything like what
Yeah.
else was
More
going on?
scratches. She, I would wake up and I'd have scratches in places where I actually couldn't reach. You know,
Wow.
and it'd be like again like three fingers, like three claw marks.
Wow. Holy
So
moly.
uh, sh- my wife at the time was like, "Well, where are you getting these scratches from?" And I'm like, I'm getting attacked. You know,
Uh-oh.
I'm seriously getting attacked, and I'm seriously getting tired of it.
Right.
You know, so she was like, "Well, you know, maybe it's something in the bed." I said, "You know, I've already been through that scenario. You know, I that's done and over with. You know, I know I checked everything.
Like
You
what
know,
what what did she think about that? Did she believe you or what?
well, no,
No, she's
she,
wasn't really
yeah, she,
privy to that kind of stuff.
no, she wasn't. It wasn't really. She really wasn't into that. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
she really didn't believe in any of it.
Yeah.
So the sleep paralysis kept going on, and I would wake up screaming at night. And she was like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I couldn't move." She was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, I couldn't move. Everything shut down. I couldn't move. You know, at the time, I didn't know what sleep paralysis was. I just knew I couldn't move.
Right.
So, so that went on, and then I started to work for this orthopedic company, and I met this guy named Bobby, Christian guy. So we hit it off. You know, we're talking or whatever, and he's trying to introduce Jesus to me, and I'm like, dude, I've been there, done that type of thing.
Yeah.
Roman Catholic. Boom. I'm hardcore.
Right. Got baptized, did the whole thing, told the
Right.
old guy about all the bad stuff. I'm in.
Right. 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 Got sprinkled water. I'm doing the smoke.
Yeah.
The
There you
ashes
go.
on my forehead. So,
I wore the robe.
right. 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 So he was like, "Look," apparently God wants me to tell you something." And that was the first time I kind of paid attention to what he was saying. So
Interesting.
he goes, there's a reason why you're sitting here. There's a reason why you came here. He goes, where do you live? I said, I live maybe an hour away. Why would it, he goes, so why would you want a job an hour away from where you live? Couldn't you find anything closer? And I was like, yeah, I could have. He goes, don't you think that God has something to do with this? And I was like, wow, I really never thought of that, you know?
Yeah.
So he goes, look, man, I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know what's happening. He goes, but I feel in my heart that God's telling me to talk to you. So when he tells me this, with everything that's been going on, I'm having relational issues with my wife. We're having marital problems. We're having all out arguments, like big time arguments. The kids are around, the kids are freaking out,
Right.
which was bad. I look back at it and I'm like, we should have never did that in front of the kids,
Yeah.
you know. So it was getting bad. It was getting really bad. And then at that time, uh, that was after 9/11. That was like maybe a year after 9/11. So my wife at the time was getting ready to get deployed. She was getting ready to do a deployment, and she was going to I think it was Saudi Arabia, or she was going to one of those places. Because when they do deployments like that with the families, they don't want the family members to know exactly where they're going,
Interesting.
until they come back. Because of the safety issue, so she knew she was going to she knew she was going to Saudi Arabia first, and then from there she was going somewhere else, but she didn't know where. So on hindsight, she really couldn't tell us where she was going.
Right.
So so she gets deployed. Um, I'm with the boys, and it's just us in the house, you know. And I was like, well, I tell Bobby, I'm like, look, man, I'm gonna have to leave because I can't stay here. My wife's about to leave on deployment, and we have no one to watch over the boys. Her mom was working. My mom and my dad were working, so we really couldn't take the boys to anyone else to watch them. So I had to play um, stay at home dad. So Bobby was like, "Well, I got your number. I'll call you. I'll check up on you. I'll see how you're doing." So he would do that. Every other day he would call me. "Hey, how you doing, bro? Everything good?" And I was, yeah, yeah, everything's all right. How's God treating you? And I'm like, what? He was like, how is God treating you? I was like, I really don't know. That's a question I would like to. I really don't know. I don't know how God is treating me. And he goes, well, maybe you should read John first. The John in the Bible. And he goes, do you have a Bible? I said, yeah, we have one here somewhere. He goes, maybe you should read John. I said, okay. I said okay to pacify him, but I never read it. So that kept going on, and I was still smoking cigarettes at the time. I had I had quit the marijuana. I quit smoking pot, and the drinking kind of settled back a little bit, but I was still smoking cigarettes. So one morning, um, now mind you, I'm still being attacked. I'm still waking up at 3 in the morning, that's always the case. That 3 a.m. thing is always the case. Um, with the sleep paralysis, I'm once I get free, I'm like screaming and gasping for air. Um, and one morning, I wake up and I feel this pressure on my chest, and I couldn't even get up. I couldn't even like get up off the bed. It felt like something really heavy was on me.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, God. I said, this is, this is it. I, if you can take this away from me, if you can take these cigarettes away from me, because I knew it was cigarettes. I said, if you can take this away from me, then here I am. I'm yours. And sure enough, Basil, as soon as I said that, man, that weight just lifted off so quick. And I grabbed that pack of cigarettes that was sitting right next to the night table, and I just tossed them in the trash. It took exactly 7 days for me to be broken from that addiction, and come to find out later on in my walk, I realized that 7 is God's perfect number.
Right, right.
His number of completion. And I was like, wow, that is so awesome to know that it took 7 days for him to completely heal me from that addiction.
Yeah, I mean that's a
So
miracle right there in itself, man. That's
yeah,
pretty
yeah, yeah.
amazing. Good for you.
So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see if I can, start reading. I start reading, and I start to write letters to my wife, and I send them out. Well, these letters are so full of scripture, and so full of um, me apologizing to her, and because a fight goes both ways.
Yeah,
you know
you're having a change of heart there. That's
right,
good.
right. So I'm giving her scripture and whatever. So um, I get no mail back. So one day she happens to call, and she goes, look, I can't have this. I can't have you sending me stuff like this when I'm in a situation like this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, don't you think that, our relationship is a little more important than what's going on? And she was like, no, I can't handle this Bible thumping stuff. Well, I said
Ooh,
stuff, but
right.
she used another.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's go from there. Now, let me backtrack a little bit. I had a serious spirit of anger that was on me so bad that the littlest things would trigger me to go off,
Sure.
you know? So, all right, here comes this spirit of anger. I'm mad, because she's giving me, this, uh, this lip. I'm going to say
Right.
lip.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
you're trying to write letters, trying to heal a relationship. You're putting scriptures in there out of love,
Right,
and she's
right.
not having it. Yeah, that could be
No,
kind
no,
of irritating. That could set
uh,
somebody off.
yeah, she wasn't having it at all. So, um, I, I did what I knew best was to punch dressers and punch doors and,
Oh, we got a
and just,
puncher.
oh yeah,
We got a
but
furniture puncher, man. What did the drawers ever do to you?
exactly. I'm gonna get to that. So, that was like my release. That spirit of anger just crept up, and here you go, boom, 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 hit something,
Yeah.
you know, and the mentality was, hit this or hit her,
Right.
that's where it was at that time.
Right.
Well, I couldn't hit her because she wasn't there. No, mind you, I never hit her. I never touched her.
Okay. Well,
Just to go on record.
hey, man. Hey, we're all new beings here.
So, so I'm dealing with this anger. I'm dealing with the rejection. I'm dealing with the persecution now, because that's basically what it was. And it was so hard, because it's coming from someone you thought that loved you, someone who you thought wouldn't betray you on that side.
Yeah.
So she comes back, and she's back maybe a day or so, and the arguments just crept up.
Mm.
Those demons were there, and they were agitating everything, and you know, and here go the demons, and here go the that spirit of anger, and bam, right into the wall.
Yeah. Did any of it have to do with like your newfound
Oh
uh
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Jesusness?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She called me a holy roller. She called me a Bible thumper. She called any name you could come up with. She called me that, and
Wow,
even
she
some
just
names.
fully wasn't having it.
Oh no, no. Even some names I can't even say on the radio on the podcast.
Right.
So so I was like, that's it. I I I cocked back, and I went at it, and I went right into the wall. Well, needless to say, the wall was harder than my fist, and
Oh,
I fractured my hand.
hey man, you punch walls, walls will
So
punch back.
exactly, and the first thing I heard was, "Now was that worth it?"
No, no. Oh no.
I was like, "All right, God, I get it." So I get dressed. It's like maybe 8 o'clock in the evening. It's like December 20th. I remember the day vividly. So I get dressed. There's a hospital across the street from where we lived. So I happen to walk across the street. The hospital is packed. I'm like, no, this ain't happening. I got to go somewhere else. So I get in my truck, and it's a manual. It's a stick shift. So the hand that I happened to break was the hand that I used to shift. So here I am driving and then shifting with my left hand, trying to drive with the left hand and shift with the left hand. So I'm driving about 30, 40 minutes away to another hospital. So I get to the hospital, and they're like, all right, here's some ice. So I get there, it's maybe about 8:30 or so. So they're like, okay, here's some ice. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, all right, God, what's going on? Why is this going on? Why is this happening? You know, and I'm getting no answer. Right. So I get upset again. And I'm like, why is this always happening? Why is it that I feel so selfish? Why is it that every time I want to answer, I'm not getting it straight away?
Right, right.
So I'm sitting in this hospital. There now, mind you, Basil, there were very few people there. I got I got seen at 3 o'clock in the morning with no one being there. They had ice on my hand. At 3 o'clock in the morning is when they call me and say, "Okay, Mr. Rosa, come on back." And I'm like, "What was the holdup?" So the anger is like building up again. I'm like, "What's the holdup? What's going on here? Why did I have to wait so long?" You know. Well, Mr. Rosa, I was like, there was nobody out there. I sat out there by myself for an hour and a half, and no one came in. Why was I sitting out there? And then I hear, "Hey, calm down." Not from anybody that was in the room. Yeah,
What?
yeah.
This is
Not from
Frank?
anybody who.
Is Frank looking after the
No,
hospital visit?
I don't think that was Frank.
Oh,
I
okay.
I I think that was God telling me,
Oh,
look,
thank goodness.
you need you need to calm down. You need to relax. All right. So I go get these X-rays done. I go, they put this temporary cast on, and I'm driving home. By this time, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have to get up at 5:30 to go to work. So I'm like, well, that's my day. My day's shot. So not only is there sleep deprivation going on, I have to go to work. I'm in pain. I'm still angry. I'm still hurt. You know. So the wife at the time was like, "Do you want to talk?" I'm like, "No, right now, I really don't want to talk about this.
Right.
This is just going to agitate the situation even more, and I don't want those demons now. You know, I don't want those things to come up."
Yeah.
So that went on for a while, until the point where we separated, and I was like, I can't really deal with someone who's not going to be yoked up with me, especially with Christ.
I mean,
But there
especially
was,
with just open hostility towards
oh
it. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a whole new
I mean,
deal.
you know, I mean, there's been forgiveness. I forgave her,
Yeah.
and I asked her to forgive me too. Um, Mind you, we don't speak to each other at all now,
Sure.
but that's by choice,
Yeah.
So there was infidelity on her behalf,
Mm.
so that alone was, that was like, that's it, So we called it off. We broke up. We got the divorce, and then the backsliding started. So here I am, crushed, hurt, everything else. And instead of running to God, I started running from him.
Yeah.
And that's when everything else started up again. That's where these guys popped up again. And when the Bible says, when you clear out a room, when the temple's cleared out, of these spirits, that when they come back and see if it's, it's cleaned out, and they bring up the heavy hitters. I'm paraphrasing, of course. They bring the ones 7 times worse than they are back into that house. That's what actually happened. These guys, these demons were relentless. They played with everything. They played with my emotions. They played with my sleep. Just about everything. Um, Started drinking heavily again. I wasn't doing the marijuana. It was just the heavy drinking.
Right.
And they were there during that whole time too. I would get into fights out in the streets. The anger just rose up again, and I got to a point where again, I was like, all right, God, I'm tired of living like this. Forgive me for just leaving. Forgive me for everything that I've done. And he was so faithful, so awesome to forgive me, and just restore what he had with me, you know, and just to bring back that joy.
Yeah.
That's the thing that really set it all apart, was that joy, just to bring
Wow.
back that joy.
Yeah.
And so with the praying and the reading the Bible, and just meditating in His Word, the self deliverance came through, you know, and He actually did all of it. There's nothing in my power to even do any of it. So that's when that's when I came to Florida. And oh, nice! It's raining outside now. It's raining pretty hard. So the Gators.
Gator rain.
So I I come to Florida, and I'm looking for a church, and I really couldn't find one. So my cousin, he he's starting off to become a pastor at this Assemblies of God church. So I start going there, just to get fed. So I'm going there. I'm getting fed. Things are working out. God's blessing me uh, with a job. The job scenario in Ohio got really bad. let me go back to just real quick with the Ohio thing.
Sure.
The job situation got really bad in Ohio where I couldn't find anything to work. I couldn't find a thing. Now, mind you, before that, uh, well, actually, after my ex-wife had came back from the Navy, I started doing some machining work, like tool and die and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So I was doing that for about 2, 3 years, and then I got laid off, and then that's when everything, like I said, everything went uh, to the dump. um, and a year after that, I came to Florida. That's when God kind of restored everything. So as soon as I get here, I land a job at the airport, refueling aircraft.
Ooh.
So I was like, okay, I can do this. I'm in Florida. It's like 800 degrees outside. I'm not used to it, you know. So I'm fueling planes for about a year and a half, and then airline hired me. So I've been with that airline. As a matter of fact, this month will be 7 years with that airline.
Wow,
So
there you
God,
go.
oh yeah, God restored so much. And then um, as I'm transitioning from the fueler to working for this airline is when I was like, all right, God, I've been alone for about 3 years. You know, I think I'm ready to date. So I prayed and I asked God. I said, I trust you. You apparently have someone for me. And I said, I know I just have to be patient. And sure enough, I I tried to do it myself. so
Uh-oh. Getting
so
in
I go
trouble.
so I go on to this online online dating, and that didn't work out too well. Uh,
Julio.
yeah, it wasn't
Julio.
it wasn't it wasn't anything bad. It was just she was still in love with her boyfriend or whatever, and it just went crazy.
Classic.
She wanted me to meet her parents, and we were only dating for like a week or so. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I was like, no,
She's trying
it's
to
not gonna
do
work out.
the old relationship fast forward
Right,
because
right,
she
right,
missed her ex-boyfriend. I get it.
right, right. So the rebound thing.
Yep.
So I got off of that online thing, and I was alone for about 3 months. And I said, well, let me check again. So I happened to check, and I just kept swiping and swiping and swiping, and then my wife now was on there, and she sends me a message, and she goes, "You're just gonna look at my picture and just keep going."
The
And I'm
old
like,
internet dating.
all right. I was like, she sounds a little feisty. I'm like, all right, let me see what's going on. So I text her back, on that app. I text her back, and we have a conversation, and the conversation gets really good. So we're conversating through text for about maybe a week on that app, and then it goes. I was like, well, can I give you my number? And then we can go through there. So I give her my number, and on my profile, I was like, I'm not looking for. I'm looking for something serious. I want something serious. I'm a Christian, and I put that on there.
Yeah.
So I really didn't pay attention to her profile. I was just enjoying the conversation with her. So we're texting back and forth, and then we start talking over the phone. So we're talking over the phone, and that's when I found out she was a believer too. And I was like, okay. I said, thank you, God. I said, let's see where this goes. I'm not going to push anything. I'm not going to rush anything. So we actually hit it off. We started dating, um, and we were dating. We were dating for a while. We were dating for like almost 5 years.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah,
Just gotta.
just
That's a nice
getting to.
switch up from the 3 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of swung the
but
pendulum the other way there, pal. But hey, it
but
seems like
but
it's working out.
but here's the funny thing. You remember how I told you that girl wanted me to meet her parents the first week,
Right,
the
right.
first week out?
Yeah.
I did that to her.
Oh man.
My parents flew in from Cleveland to visit in the summer, and I was like, "Hey, mom, check her out."
Might as well. Might as well just get that over with early.
Right. So uh, we hit it off, and we recently got married in April. So
Oh, well, congratulations.
yeah,
So
thank
you
you.
guys are just a few months in then.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
All right, you're the
yeah.
man. You're the man.
So that's when the spiritual stuff on the good side started really happening.
Oh, there we go. There we
So
go.
so I'm praying, and I'm praying for people, and praying for people for healing and stuff like that, and one day we're out at Universal Studios. We took her mom with us. So her mom's leg was hurting, and my wife was like, "What, why don't you just go ahead and pray for my mom's leg?" And I was like, "Okay, I'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens." And I prayed for her, and her the pain in her leg had gone away. and
Wow, there
uh
you
and
go.
I was like, amen, this is awesome. And then her nephew was there, and at that time he wasn't believing at that time, I don't think. No, he wasn't a believer at that time.
Yeah.
So he goes back to New York, and he was into some bad stuff too. He goes back to New York, and he finds Christ, and he comes back the following year, and he's like, "Yo, man, if it, I want to thank you and my aunt, which is my wife." He was like, "I want to thank you guys for showing me, for being an example. You guys really put me on a path." And I was like, "Yeah, that wasn't us. you know that that was God speaking to your heart. That was Jesus pulling at you. You know, he's the one that you should give all praise and glory to. Not us. We were just tools. We were just there." And so he goes back to New York, and something happened. He calls me, and he says, "Hey, Julio, there's I'm not feeling right. There's something going on. Can you pray for me?" So I said, "All right, fine. This is over the phone." So I started to pray for him, and I was just glorifying God. I was like, "Thank you, Lord, for dying on the cross for us. You're mighty, you're awesome, you're so powerful, Lord. You're the true and almighty God." Just giving God praise over the phone, and he started to manifest over the phone.
Oh boy.
So I was like, "Are you okay?" He was like, "Just keep praying." He was like, "Keep praying. It's just this isn't right. Just keep praying." So I kept praying over the phone with him. I kept praising God, and the growls that were coming out of this guy uh, was so. How you hear like the demons on TV,
Right.
like
Yep. Like
that's
multiple
exactly
voices like stacked
right,
on each other. Yeah.
right, right. That's exactly how it was coming up out of him. And I was asking Jesus to give me insight, asking the Holy Spirit to help me with it. And the Lord allowed me to deliver him over the phone.
Wow, that's
But
amazing.
there was one point where I was speaking to one of the demons that was trying to come out. I told him, I said, every knee has to bow at the name of Jesus. And this demon just laughed at me, just, just started laughing at me. And I'm like, whoa, what is going on?
Yeah.
You know, it kind of, there, there was no fear. I didn't have any fear, which was a miracle in itself. Cause something like that, a person's instinct, instinct is to be afraid, you
Right.
know,
Right.
I didn't have any fear. The Holy Spirit was doing all of it. You know, um, there was no fear there, but there was so much compassion for him. There was so much love that was coming out. I can feel all that love. You know what I'm saying? I can feel that love coming out towards him, coming for him. And I just kept praying with him. I think we were on the phone for about an hour and a half. Just trying to get these things out of him. And I was like, so what happened? How did this all happen? Was there something wrong that you did? And he was like, some woman prayed over me. He said, some woman just laid her hands and started praying over me. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. I was like, you really have to look in the Bible, because you can't just let anybody lay their hands on you and pray. You don't know what's behind that. You don't know what kind of spirit is behind that person doing this. You know, so God kind of threw scripture into my mind where it's if you need prayer for healing, or you need prayer for certain things, to go to the elders and the pastors of the church.
Right.
And I told him, I said, look, this is maybe what you should have done. Maybe you should have gone to your pastor, or gone to, to the elders of your church. And he goes, yeah, that's, I did that the first time, but nothing happened. So I was like, okay, it's still, there's, he was delivered before. They had delivered him before from whatever he was doing before he got saved.
Hmm.
So he had
Let's
a
bring in.
deliverance thing going on.
Yeah.
So whatever happened with that woman praying over him and just laying her hands on him, just started it.
Yeah. Right.
So
Yeah.
so the
It's
I'm
interesting.
sorry.
I know it's okay. I just find it fascinating because there's such a long history of deliverance stuff and interactions with beings, and obviously all the way dating back to biblical times. Possession,
Right.
oppression, things like that. It seems like we haven't really figured it out the whole way. Like
No.
there doesn't seem to really be a formula that works every time, all the time. Now I'm sure
No.
there's people out there. Well, I know there's a mix of listeners. There's some people who don't necessarily see that very often in their
Right.
Christian community, and then there's others who see it all the time, and maybe they would argue with me. But from the stories I've heard, it's a little bit more complicated than I think we like to think it is.
Yeah. I mean, I was getting me personally, I was getting frustrated because it wasn't coming out,
Right.
you know,
Right. Yeah,
and
exactly.
and 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 the Holy Spirit's saying, you're not doing this, you know. You're just a vessel right now. We're using you to do this, you know.
Right.
That's how I felt it, you know. That's how I felt. Okay, then here you go, you know. Just tell me what to say, you know. But after that happened comes the conversations of these fallen angels and Genesis 6, and I'm like, dude, you you're gonna step into some place you need to be a little prepared for, you know.
Well, that actually brings up a kind of what I was hoping to move into here is, I mean, when did you start kind of getting into the Genesis 6 and the things like that? Was that before this?
That I was getting into that when I realized who I was getting attacked by.
Ah,
You know,
you
that's
started doing the internet searches.
yeah. I started to dig. I started digging my Bible, and I started to dig in like excuse me, other books like Enoch popped up,
Yeah. Classic.
and yeah, the Book of Jasher and the Maccabees, and books that actually had these giants and these fallen angels and the stuff that they were doing, and I just wanted to dig in to see what was going on, and me being ex-military, the first thing they tell you is if you want to beat your enemy, you need to know his tactics.
Right, right.
So that's where I started to go at. I needed to know how this enemy works. I needed to dig in and see how he operates, or how they operate, I should say.
Hmm.
And and that's where my journey went. It just went to there. And I guess my life verse would be Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. And that's that sure is true. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there you go, man. You got it. I mean, if your story is anything, which it is, but it is also a ongoing tale of supernatural experiences that
Oh yeah.
that really just show that there's a lot more going on than meets the eye, man. You got Frank, you got Frankie Boy, you got Blueface, you got your bee friends, and but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad that the supernatural experiences kind of took a turn there.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They did. It's and my mom knows what happens. She knows the change. She's seen the change.
Yeah.
I actually prayed over the house, and some of that stuff actually stopped happening over at the house.
Right. Well, there you go.
So
Good.
so they're not hearing any of the footsteps or whatever. Just
Have you shared, obviously your parents are open to the supernatural stuff. Have you shared any of the Genesis 6 any of
oh
the
yeah, we
Bible
have
prophecy
oh
stuff?
oh oh yeah, we have some seriously deep
You got the
conversations,
whole
and
family on board.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, we have some deep conversations, and my mom goes, well, don't you think that some of this stuff that's happening today is due to them? I said, yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be onto
Yeah,
something.
yeah, I think so. But
So, are
they're
sorry, are your parents still leaning towards the Catholic side?
well, well, they no, they left the Catholic Church,
Mm-hmm.
and that's another thing. Wow, they
Mm.
they left the Catholic Church, and they had started going to a Lutheran church. So now,
Okay, that's an
yeah,
easy transition, I think.
yeah,
From
yeah,
that's a yeah, that's a good first step. I mean,
yeah.
Lutherans are great,
Right,
but
right.
yeah, they've got a lot of that liturgy and stuff that I think the Catholics would be used to
Right, right.
or feel
So
at home in.
exactly, exactly, and that's what I asked my mom. I was like, this is kind of the same boat, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
And she goes,
they've got a
she goes, it is, but it isn't.
they've got yeah, a similar appreciation for the sort of high church feel.
Right.
Yeah,
So there's a spiritual story about that pastor that went in that was at my mom's church.
yeah,
He so I'm visiting, and he's doing, I guess they were celebrating him to get his ordination or something. He
sure.
was getting his ordination. So I wasn't there for the service, so I showed up right after the service. So they were having this little get together downstairs in the basement of the church. So my mom told me that his message was about not letting the enemy take away your word, right?
Right, right.
So he that was his sermon. He did his sermon for that day. So at this church, there's a bunch of neighborhood kids. There's neighborhood kids that had gone to this church. Well, anyway, one of the kids got really rowdy, and this pastor snatched up this kid so quick, like physically snatched up this kid. But
Some crowd control there.
oh, dude, but that wasn't it. The face, I saw this man's face contort so bad
Oh wow.
that it freaked me out. And I was like, "Oh, what is going on?" So my dad grabs the pastor, and I grabbed the little boy. I grabbed the boy from, he was like maybe 12, 13.
Sure.
The kid was.
Yeah.
So I grabbed the kid, and I take him outside. And the kid's hysterical. He's swearing at the pastor. He's like, "I'm going to tell my mom," and he starts to take off. I'm like, "Look, wait." I said, "Calm down for a second." I said, "I understand he should have never put his hands on you. Just go calmly to your mom and tell her what happened. Don't go in hysterics, because the hysteria is gonna transfer to your mom. Then
Ah,
your mom's gonna get hysterical,
right.
and then it's gonna be a bigger mess than what it is.
Yeah.
You know. So after I saw that man's face, I was like, "You know what, Mom?" I said, I can't stay here. I gotta go." And she was like, "Is everything okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'll tell you once we get to the house. Once I get to the house, I'll let you know why I'm leaving." And I didn't want to stick around. So when I get to the house, and I tell her, I was like, "Mom, if you would have seen this guy's face, he did not look like himself. He literally did not look like himself when he grabbed that kid."
Really? So the pastor was sort of manifesting then.
Right, right, right.
Interesting.
There was so much anger in that guy's face, so much. It was weird. And I told my mom, I was like, "I don't know if you guys should stay here." I said, not for the simple fact that he did what he did, but that's not a show of love. That's not showing Christ's love if he's doing something like this.
Right,
You know,
right.
he's letting that anger just take over him.
Sounds like
And
he might be a furniture puncher as well.
yeah, yeah. Look out, steel beam, because it's coming. So, so I told her, I said that's I don't feel it's I don't think it's going to be a good thing if you guys stay there. Well, apparently the church fell apart. I don't know what caused the falling apart in that church, but the church fell apart,
Right.
and the building closed down, and my mom and my dad ended up looking for another church. Right now, they're still looking for a church to go to.
Okay. All
So
right.
so
Yeah, you gotta.
keep them in prayer for that.
Okay, we definitely will. So, uh, so you guys have been you and your parents there. It's interesting. Starting off, with the Catholic thing. I know recently we've had quite a lot of Catholic testimonies, or from ex-Catholics, I suppose,
Right.
on the show. So that I find that pretty interesting. And not that we have to do a whole big conversation about it, but I have had some emails from people, and it has shown me the breadth of experience with Catholicism. I'm just curious, when listening to those other episodes, was there any were you like, "Yep, that's it," or like,
Oh
"Yeah,
yeah,
that must
yeah,
be different"?
yeah, yeah. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's on point right there." That's
Okay, all right, good.
that's definitely what's going on. Yeah.
All right. Well, so you obviously have heard of a show called Canary Cry Radio, I think.
No, I don't know who those two guys are.
So you said that you kind of started out learning about kind of the Genesis 6 stuff, a little bit of the Nephilim, a little bit of this here and there. How much experience do you have with this sort of waking up to the dark secrets of the world?
Oh wow. I think that goes. I think that goes a little back towards like maybe a couple years after 9/11 too.
Oh yeah, yeah. There you go. There you
Um,
go.
it all. Who was the first one, the first person that kind of triggered the curiosity even more? Um, Well, with the conspiratorial stuff was definitely Mr. Jones.
Oh yeah, good old
uh,
Alex Jones, the gateway drug of conspiracy
yeah,
theory.
yeah, that's funny. You know, it got so bad, Basil, that at one point I had to stop listening to this guy because it started to build up so much fear.
Yeah, it's nonstop, isn't it? Sometimes I'm like,
Um,
how does he keep it up? I can barely
yeah,
keep
yeah,
up what I do, and I have fun with it. This
yeah.
guy's gonna
I was
blow
like,
his top one of these days.
oh no, this is weird. Then I stumbled upon uh, Chuck Misler,
Yeah,
and
yeah, good old
and
Chuck.
and and he kind of brought some interesting things up. And I was like, okay, let's see who else I can stumble onto. Then came Michael Heiser,
Yeah.
and then I stumbled onto you guys, and I was like, oh, I like these guys. I was
Yeah.
like, they take it to a different level. This is really cool. You know, they take it to a totally different level.
Well, I
It's
hope
like
we
making fun of it, but not making fun of it. You know.
I hope we lighten it up a little bit after the Alex Jones binge. That's
Oh yeah, definitely. I
that's the thing with you listen to Alex Jones for I mean honestly it's I only do it really for research purposes at this point just to
right,
see what
right,
he's
right.
talking about. But yeah, I mean any prolonged and God bless the guy, but any prolonged experience with his material, and you just need to get on some medication after that.
Or hide under a couch, sucking your thumb with a blanket.
Yeah, exactly. So, did you kind of experience what a lot of us do, where it just becomes a little bit overwhelming?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And then I was in communication with my stepsons, so I kind of spilled a little bit to them, and they were like,
Yeah.
"No, Dad, that's not real." You know, what are you? You're crazy.
Oh
I was like, "All
boy!
right, dudes, all right." So,
Don't
up to
say I didn't
recently,
warn you.
yeah, exactly. Up to recently, the youngest one was like, "Dad, hey, you remember when you used to tell us all this stuff?" He goes, "I'm kind of starting to believe you." I was like, "All right, there you go." I was like, "I was
Yeah,
telling you about this stuff long ago, and you guys didn't really want to pay attention to it." So
yeah. You
there,
gotta
there you have it.
You got to start them young. They may not like it at the time, but later on, when everything starts making sense, they're gonna thank you
Right,
for
right,
it.
right. Like the whole scenario now
Yeah,
with
no, I
you
mean
know,
it's crazy. Every day I
yeah,
wake up
that's
and look at what's going on. I'm like, called it about 6 years
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
Called it
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys trickled on to from you guys. It went to uh, Russ Dizdar.
Oh yeah. Good old
I
Russ.
listened. I listened to Russ, and then the Gilberts, and then now Skywatch,
Uh huh.
Piston Fall. It's like my phone can't handle the podcast anymore.
Can
There's so
podcast
many of
overload. I know.
them.
Well, luckily we've got a good collection going on in the genre in the
Right.
community now, so that's good. There's a little some for everybody.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah, talking about so let's talk a little bit about this. I mean, you've had a lot of supernatural experiences. It's very apparent that there is something else going on. Does that kind of give you a new perspective on everything going on in the world? I mean, we're here stuck knowing about all these shady things going on, and we got to deal with it somehow. What do you got for me?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's to a point where you look at things with different eyes and a different perspective, and then you're constantly analyzing it, and you're saying, yeah, you know that the Prince of the Air is messing with this one, or
Right.
that you have that bug in your spirit saying that's not right.
Yeah.
You know that this is the enemy doing this. Um, and it's just been it's you feel so at one point you feel so helpless because you want to do more,
Mm-hmm.
but you realize that Christ said, hey, I conquered it all. There's
Right.
nothing that you have to worry about or even fear because I conquered it. And that's what gives me the motivation and the focus to stay focused on him, and not too much on the situation of the world, because that's what he wants. He wants you to stay focused on the bad. The enemy does. He wants you to stay focused and stay in fear and stay uh, uh, concerned about right now and try to divert your attention from Christ. you
Right.
know
Right.
and if you stay focused on that, and you stay focused on the bad, and you keep trying to figure out, oh, what am I going to do, what am I going to do, you're going to drive yourself nuts, and you're going to cause that distance between you and Christ if you're not focused on him. you know and I keep telling my oldest son and the kid, my wife's nephew, if you guys really need to stay focused on him, because he's the only one that's going to deliver you out of whatever. You know, it
Amen,
it does
brother.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you think the situation is worse than what it is. You know that Christ got your back. You know that he's not going to let you out of his hands. And the Bible says no power, no principality, no angel can separate you from my hands. You know, and I honestly believe that. It's a wholehearted belief that I have, that nothing's going to separate me from Christ, because he says it, and because I've experienced it. And that's the joy of knowing that you're resting in him. That's the joy of knowing that you have some place to run to. You have him to run to. You have him to ask. You have him to say, uh, don't worry, I got this. Just he says, lay all your burdens on me. Lay it all upon me. There's a reason why he's saying it. He doesn't want you to worry. He doesn't want you to stress out. He doesn't want you to be in a place where that's all you're thinking about.
Mm.
Because you're not focused on him. So in the beginning, the whole conspiratorial stuff. Well, it's just a conspiracy for the ones who actually create it, right? but but it's no longer a fear like it used to be.
Right.
It's now I see it as, okay, what's going to be the next play. You can already see the ongoing playbook of what's coming. And like, who was it that said it? Well, I can't remember his name now. Where they said that they tend to telegraph their punches before anything happens.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
These are things that you're already aware of. You're already looking at these things, and you're already aware of what's going on. Now, when I talk this stuff to my wife, she's like, okay. She was like, what do you have to prove it? I was like, all right, let me show you. Let me show you this. Like like the recent storm thing. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have my theories on the storms.
Oh yeah.
These recent storms.
Yeah, we've certainly some theories to be passed around there.
Yeah.
Actually, Gons has done some great videos on it on his YouTube page. I'd recommend people check that out, and some other places he's done some stuff on that. But yeah, man, yeah, I think you said it best. I mean, I think it really is that rest that you can find in Christ. You know,
Yep.
that's the biggest thing. And, you know, there's a lot of, you know, obviously the show's called The Joyspiracy Theory, and there's a lot of different definitions of joy. And, you know, but I'll say to everybody out there, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be like you're skipping down the road singing a song all the time.
No.
No, and you can still be joyful throughout, even when you know, things aren't so great, or maybe you don't even feel so great. I actually today was an interesting day for me because it's kind of first day of fall. Things were chilling, and I don't know. I kind of get a little when fall's in the air. I can get a little quieter, get a little calmer, get a little bit maybe more lopey, more mopey.
Right.
But even in those times, I feel joy. I feel joyful, even though it may be sort of melancholy. It's that rest in Christ, actually, that you can feel joy even in those times where maybe physically or emotionally you feel a little off. But returning to that place of rest in Christ is, you know, you may feel off, but you know that there's an even deeper layer to that, which is the rest and the joy that you find in Christ. So there you go.
Yes,
there you
sir.
go, buddy. You know what else helps me out when the leaves start turning colors and things get a little chillier, and you know, the New World Order is taking goose step by goose step closer to their dark ends.
Right.
That's kitty cats, man. You know I love my kitty cats.
Oh yeah.
You got any furry friends?
Actually, I don't.
No.
But I am a dog lover.
A dog lover. Okay, well, that's good. I have a couple of friends who are dog lovers, and I say I'm a dog lover too. I just love other people's dogs. There's enough dogs in this world that I don't need to like keep one captive in order to enjoy them.
My wife goes, "When are you going to get me a dog?" And I said, "Well, when we're old and we have walkers, and the dog tends to walk us instead of us walking the dog."
You know, I live in an apartment complex, so it's kind of nice. All my neighbors have dogs, so I kind of just get to pet them as I walk to my car.
Right.
Dogs are out pooping on the grass. Come on, people, pick up the poop. You don't just leave it there.
Right. You know, you don't train them; they train you.
Yeah, exactly. So no dogs. And sounds like you're not planning on it. You're taking it easy, like me. You're just gonna enjoy other people's dogs.
Yeah. We like to travel. We like to do certain things.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
It's kind of hard with a dog.
Yeah.
You can't just leave them and say, "Hey, you know, right there's the keys. You lock the door when you go out."
You can bring them to the doggy motel, but then you're spending like an extra $300 just to like take a weekend vacation.
Right. And not only that, but who's to say your dog might not come back sick? Or
that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Those dogs always getting each other sick all the time.
Yeah.
Well, what about how's that body feeling, man? I know you don't got dogs, but you getting aches and creaks, or are you keeping things loose?
Dude, I got a dad bod. What's up?
I gotta say, man, the dad bod craze. Anybody out there who's not aware, about early 2016, maybe late 2015, was like the dad bod craze.
Yeah, it was.
Dude, that was it. If you had a dad, I think it was Leonardo DiCaprio that really was the champion of the dad bod at the time. Anyways, but yeah. Hey, so you keeping that dad bod, man? Nice.
No. Actually, I'm trying to change that. I've changed my diet. We've been eating really clean lately.
Oh, there you go.
We don't do any dairy products.
Yes. Nice.
That's out of the question.
Yeah.
Lots of water.
There you go.
Lots of herbal teas.
Yep.
And just eating basically almost paleo.
You know, water is the biggest thing. First of all, dairy. Yeah, no, thank you on dairy. I have since, most people still think of me as a vegetarian on the show because I haven't talked about it in a while. I'm not. Just newsflash. I'm not a vegetarian anymore, but I still stay away from that dairy. It just weirds me out, and has a lot of weird stuff going on there, especially in America. You kind of you're not just getting your dairy no matter what they put on the package. But it's that water, man. You know, I've got a friend, and she hates drinking water. Like, she's constantly dehydrated. And she'll get like headaches and
I wonder why.
Just drink some water, like drink water. And she's like, it's whatever. Okay, I'll drink some. I'm like, look, imagine just for a second, just imagine that there was this magical potion that you could drink that would take away all your aches and pains, would make all of your cells work correctly, would make you feel more awake. Because, you know, and imagine this magical potion. Now imagine that it was like covering most of the earth because it's called water. All you got to do is drink water and most things fix themselves. Come on.
Right.
Anyways, that's, I don't know if I've had a water rant on this show yet, but.
It's good because it's true.
Have you?
I mean,
I
work outside all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I work outside, and in this heat and humidity, you know, I'm constantly drinking water.
You got to do it.
And like you said, it is for your aches and your pains. Well, it does juice up the joints.
Yeah,
you know?
People don't realize this. Like, water is actually a fuel for your body. We think of like food as being fuel, and people just think water is like a thing you got to drink to like keep your to stay juicy. Like, you don't just drink water so you stay juicy. Like, you gotta drink the water because it's literally fuel for your cells. Your cells use the water to do their job. So go drink a bunch of water. When I was in college, I had this, good gallon thing that I would fill up every day at the cafeteria, and I would fill it up. I was drinking like 3 gallons a day. One time I drank the whole thing and was just laying in my bed and stood up and got super dizzy and like fell back onto my bed, and I felt like literally like drunk, like not hyperbolically speaking. I was literally drunk. And I talked to the nurse at my college, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's called hydro." Oh shoot,
you overhydrated yourself.
Yeah, it's hydro intoxication. You can actually get drunk off water, which I was like, college just got way more fun and healthy. So there you go. I apparently it's probably not the healthiest thing. Probably better than getting smashed on good old tequila Mockingbird.
Absolutely.
But yes, it's super funky. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that hydro intoxication. It's craziness.
I've heard of someone being sick to the point where they had to back off of drinking so much water. Really? Yeah, it kind of had a reverse. Oh
yeah, that's interesting. You got to watch
accident.
Out for that. Yeah. Anyways, this might be going into too much information for people, but that same time during college, I bet a friend that I could fill up a 2-liter bottle with my bodily
awesome
things. And I bet him, I said, I bet I could fill this up in 1 hour. And he's like, no way. I filled it up in 15 minutes. That's how much water I was drinking. It was insane. Now, I'm not recommending everybody do that, but it was pretty impressive. Also really gross because I kept the bottle underneath the sink on my floor in college. I was not making any friends with my storing of my own urine.
Hey, Basil, what's that? Mountain Dew?
And it was, that's the thing. I was so hydrated. It was clear as when it went in. And so it just looked like a 2-liter bottle of water, and there was a lot of talks and scheming for pranks, but that was just too much. I was not going to do a prank that involved tricking somebody into thinking my urine was water. That would have just taken it too far. The retribution that would have come back on me for that prank would have been too much to bear. I would not be here today. I would be dead if I did that. Anyways, there's a look into my college experience.
That sounds like my military experience.
That's kind of what my school felt more like. Anyways. Well, Julio, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, man, what an awesome collection of supernatural experiences that you've had.
Yeah, it's been a ride.
It's been a real ride, man. And I pray that the positive ones continue and the negative ones stay away. But it sounds like you've really got everything under control over there.
Amen. Thanks to Jesus, bro.
And congratulations on your recent nuptials.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So say hi to the wife for me. Does she listen to any of the shows?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Whenever we drive, the one that we play, the one I play the most is when you guys had Josh Peck, that 3-hour episode.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a fun one.
Oh man, that is funny.
It's got a lot of replay value on that one. A lot of replay value on that episode. Well, hello to Julio's wife. There's your shout out.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening. All right, buddy. Well, this is usually the time. Do you have anything to plug? Do you sell anything? Do you write anything? What's your deal?
I have a YouTube channel, but it's not anything biblical.
Okay. Well, hey, just put it here and people will connect with you.
It's July Has Fun.
Okay, July Has Fun. There you go.
We're gonna start up a YouTube channel, my wife and myself, and that's the one that we're gonna focus on Christ and focus on relationships and just the joy of being Christians. And it doesn't mean that we're downers.
Sure.
Just because we have Christ doesn't mean we can't live.
Great.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Amen, brother.
So
that's YouTube. Search July Has Fun.
Right. That's the non-Christian one.
That's the non-Christian one.
Right. That's just me taking kids to Disney.
Well, that doesn't mean it's non-Christian. It's still Christian because you are Christian.
Well, because I am.
But you
right.
ain't preaching nothing on that channel.
Right.
Except for good old family fun.
Exactly. The other channel.
Okay.
Which isn't up yet. Which is going to be my wife and myself. That one's going to be focused on just us sharing.
Do you have a name for it yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
Not
man.
yet.
All right. Well, everybody go follow July Has Fun and then wait for his announcement on July Has Fun to find his other channel. There you go. All right, man. Well, thank you so much. This has been a great time.
Well, thank you for having me, Basil. It's been awesome, man. You guys are awesome. You guys have pushed this conspiracy thing to the next level, and not only because you guys have fun with it. It's just you guys really educate the people on these things to tell them that it's not a fearful thing, especially with Christ,
Yeah.
And that's the awesome part.
Amen, man. Well, thank you very much. That's very sweet. I will relay that message to Gons. He will be so touched. He's dealing
deal, bro.
He's dealing with a baby right now.
Yeah. Congrats to that dude.
I'll let him know you say so. All right, buddy. Well, you have a wonderful night, and hey, we'll talk again soon.
Awesome deal, brother. God bless you, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Well, there you have it, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. And thank you, Julio, so much for your story and your wisdom and just blessing us all with how wonderful you are. Yes, we all really appreciate it. Hey, if you guys want to check out Julio's YouTube page with his wife, it's called Before Him. And they've got their first video up there. I'll put the link in the show notes. So really make sure to check that out because it's going to be awesome. I've already watched the first video. Very well put together. Somebody knows what they're doing over there. A lot of times, with the YouTubes, you don't get the best quality, but these guys got it on lockdown. There's a bowl of fruit. Well, I'll just let you go watch it. Okay, you can find the link to that in the show notes. Again, if you haven't liked the Facebook page, go to Facebook, search thejoyspiracytheory.com and like the page. We got all sorts of new stuff coming out there. And thank you again to Renee, Rhonda, and Steven. You guys are the best. Send me your pet names so we can give them a shout out on the show here. And if you guys feel led to help support this show, this is entirely listener supported. So the only reason this show is still going is because listeners like you decided, hey, I can spare $5 a month to keep this show going. I enjoy it. Maybe the schedule isn't as consistent as I'd like, but I'm really working on that. So please thank you for your grace and patience. But if you want to help make that a reality, you can go to patreon.com/thejoyspiracytheory and sign up to support the show. We got at $5 a month, we can get your furry friends, your feathery friends, your scaly friends. We can give them a shout out on the show. For $10 a month, we can have a personal message read on the show. So if you have friends who listen to the show, you want to wish them a happy birthday or just say thank you, that's a great way to do that. And you help support the show, keep it running. So you're the best. Okay, I think that's just about it. So if you haven't done it yet, go to iTunes and leave a rating and a review. A rating is stars, a number of stars. 1 star is like a melting snowman. 5 stars is like 100 not melting snowmen. And leaving a review is just explaining that very vague snowman metaphor that I just gave you. And don't forget, guys, you can leave me a voice message at thejoyspiracytheory.com. On the right-hand side there, you'll see a little tab. Click on that tab, and you can record me a message on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, wherever you are. And you know what? I want to hear about what gives you guys joy. Why don't you let me know? Go over there right now. Take a second, thejoyspiracytheory.com. Click on the leave a voicemail message button, and tell me what gives you a little bit of joy. Let's share it. Let's spread it. All right. We got a new episode coming out next week, so make sure to check that out. And when your lips are chapped, put a little joy on them.